Thank you. Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Fran Baxter, and I'm the chairperson of the Zoning Board of Appeals. Today is March 23rd, 2021, and it is past the hour of 6 o'clock. This open meeting of the Northborough Zoning Board of Appeals is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12, 2020, due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus. In order to mitigate the transmission of the COVID-19 virus, the town of Northborough has been advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend public gatherings, and as such, the governor's order suspends the requirement of the open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible physical location. All the members of the Zoning Board of Appeal are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. The order allows the ZBA to meet entirely remotely so long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda unless the chair notes otherwise. Members of the public who wish to view the live stream of this meeting may do so by going to Northborough Remote Meeting on YouTube via the link listed on the agenda. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless participation is required by law. This meeting will feature public comment. And for the record, we have all 5 voting members of the zoning board here, as well as both alternates. So thank you, everyone. It is past the hour of 6 o'clock, so the first item on our agenda is to consider the petition of Be Well Living, doing business as Hot Works, for a special permit with site plan approval, special permit groundwater protection overlay district to operate a new indoor commercial recreation use on the property located at 318 Main Street, map 47, parcel 93, in the Business East zoning district and groundwater protection overlay district 2. And for the applicant, we have with us who this evening?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Attorney Brian Falk of Myrick O'Connell.
Okay, thank you, Attorney. Falk, if you want to give us an overview and tell us what your client is looking for.
Sure, happy to. And if I may, my client, Sarah and Jonathan Bell, the franchise owners, they should be on here. They may be presenting if we could promote them to presenter.
Okay, let me look and see. Right now, I have you in the audience.
Oh, I see Sarah joining in right now, actually.
Okay, all right. And then there's a person named James, but I don't know, is one of your people named James?
That's our broker, James Boslick.
Okay, so Jim, if we could move James into as a panelist, and we're waiting for one other person.
Okay.
The franchise owners are here. We're visible now.
Oh, you were on with, okay, there you go.
Right. All right, Madam Chair, I'm just going to share my screen just to put up our PowerPoint presentation if I can.
Absolutely.
Please. Okay, can everyone see that?
Yes.
Great, thank you. So again, Brian Falk, attorney at Myrick O'Connell, 100 Front Street in Worcester, here on behalf of the applicant Be Well Living LLC, doing business as Hot Works. We're seeking a special permit with site plan approval to operate a new indoor commercial recreational use in existing space at 318 Main Street. As I mentioned, with me tonight are Sarah and Jonathan Bell, who would serve as the franchise owners of this location, tenants at the plaza. Just to orient yourself, and I apologize, the plan didn't reproduce as well. Up towards the top is Main Street, Route 20. This is the Post Road Marketplace Plaza in the Business East zoning district. Our unit is highlighted in green along the western side of the building. The unit was most recently home to the Autism Behavioral Center. It's a 2,200 square foot retail unit. The yellow shading represents parking that, for the most part, right around now is not used. And the hashed area is overflow parking. This parking would be available to the use. So Hot Works is a membership-based 24-hour infrared health and fitness studio. This would be the first Hot Works location in Massachusetts. The closest franchise right now is in Bedford, New Hampshire. There are approximately 170 Hot Works locations open in the United States right now. with almost 200 more in some level of process of leasing or permitting. Our studio will feature 10 infrared sauna rooms for individuals or group sessions. The workouts are virtually instructed. So members use the sauna rooms for a zero impact workout in infrared heat, which allows for a much more efficient workout. Infrared saunas essentially mimic the sun's heat without harmful UV rays. Staff will be present during certain hours to deal with new members, cleaning, general operations, but the facility will be open 24 hours, 7 days a week for members by appointment using a reservation app. Workouts are between 15 and 45 minutes, so turnover in the parking areas will be fairly quick. Based upon data from the Bedford, New Hampshire facility that we spoke with, we expect 20 to 30 people in the space during regular hours. Occupancy limit is 45. We expect peak hours to be on weekdays 6 to 10 a.m. and then again 4 to 8 p.m. And again, that's based upon similar locations. With that, I just want to turn things over to Sarah and Jonathan Bell, tell you a little bit about themselves and a little bit about how they plan to operate the facility.
Sure. Thanks, Brian. So we wanted to take a few minutes just to introduce who we are and tell you a little bit more about why we chose to start this business and why we chose HOTWORX specifically. So my name is Sarah Bell. This is my husband, Jonathan Bell. He goes by Justin. So if you hear me say Justin, that's who I'm referring to. This is our family that you see pictured here on the slides. We live in the local community in Upton, so surrounding town. And we have two young sons, Austin and Ethan, which you see here. We both have full-time careers in the life science biotech space. We are very driven in the sense that we are passionate about bringing new life-saving, life-enhancing medicines to patients that need it. And we've been fortunate to be very heavily involved in our daily jobs in vaccine development and pandemic response. We have also, at the same time, been through our own personal health journeys over the last few years, and through that developed a passion for preventative health and wellness. So, in our careers, we see a lot of sickness, and we realize that there's a lot that people can do to prevent that illness in the first place. And so what we really liked about the HOTWORX concept is that it looks at overall health and wellness. It's not just another fitness concept. It really addresses wellness and overall well-being. And the fact that the workouts are virtually instructed, it provides a safe way for people to work out even through the pandemic. And it's zero impact. So it appeals to all fitness levels and a broad range of ages. And so being able to bring that to our local community was very appealing to us. And then also helping the local community refuel after the pandemic. Since this is a new concept in 24 hours, I did want to touch upon some safety and security features to give you a better sense of what the studio will look and feel like. So one of the bubbles here in the middle of the screen is what a sauna itself will look like. So each of these are 63 square feet. The number of people in each sauna can be systematically controlled. So in the time of COVID restrictions, we can control so that there's only one person allowed per sauna, but typically it would operate at a 3-person max. And that's the idea of small group training. The saunas all have transparent doors and would each have their own sprinkler head. So you have complete visibility inside and outside of the sauna for safety purposes. In terms of staffed hours, members only would be allowed in the studio after staffed hours. So the studio itself would be staffed 50 hours a week. Outside of that, you would use either a pin pad access or an application on your phone that would allow you access based on your member status. The studio itself is surveillanced cameras 24 hours a day. We do have what you see up here in the image on the right, this Mirtex personal emergency response system. So it's basically a pendant that people would take in the sauna with them at off hours if they desire for a safety precaution. And we highly encourage people to work out with buddies or partners in those off hours, again, for safety purposes. There's some age requirements that are part of the membership agreement. And then from a cleaning and maintenance perspective, we're just using standard surface disinfectants and wipes. And there's, precautionary daily, weekly, monthly cleaning and maintenance procedures for the saunas in the facility overall. So nothing out of the ordinary from a typical gym or fitness studio. And I think,
Thank you,
Brian,
Sarah.
I'll turn it back to you.
Great, thank you. I just want to bore everybody briefly with the legal basis for the special permit, and then I'll turn things back to the board. Again, this is an indoor commercial recreational use, so we need a special permit and site plan approval from the ZBA. We had, as was mentioned in the hearing notice, we had originally applied also for a groundwater protection overlay district special permit. But we clarified with the town engineer and the building commissioner that it's not necessary because we are in zone 3 and not zone 2. So one less thing for the board to include in its decision. The plaza, after being built in 2004, has gone through a number of special permits, variances, modifications to the site plan as different tenants and uses have come and gone. We previously submitted, and this is mentioned in the city engineer's letter that came across, or town engineer, I'm sorry, letter that came across earlier today, an analysis of the plaza's septic usage. And the addition of hot works will leave us with sufficient capacity. The site has sufficient parking, and we've shown that over the years. Right now, as I mentioned earlier, the lot is roughly half full at best. Given that this is a tenant fit out of existing space with ample parking, we believe you may find that the use meets the criteria for a special permit. Any adverse effects of the proposed use do not outweigh the beneficial impacts to the town and the site. In addition, the use is in substantial harmony with the Northborough Master Plan and the purposes of the zoning bylaw, being located along Route 20 in the Business East District, where these types of uses are encouraged. The proposed site is appropriate location for the use, and the use will not adversely affect the neighborhood. There will be no nuisance or hazard to vehicles or pedestrians associated with the use. Adequate facilities are provided at the site for the proper operation of the use. With respect to site plan approval, the site still meets all applicable requirements of the zoning bylaw, and this tenant fit out is not making any changes to the site itself. I mentioned the engineer's letter that came across this afternoon has a few different suggested conditions that we're happy to discuss with the board. Appreciate your time and attention, and we look forward to your questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Attorney Falk. Okay. Town staff, do you have any questions specific for the applicant at this point?
I've got one question. The individual sauna rooms, obviously you're going to need a building permit to take care of all the interior fit outs and things like that, but are the interior sauna rooms handicapped accessible?
Yeah, not every single one of them will be, but I believe that there's a certain number that will be handicap accessible. Yep.
Yeah, there's a minimum of one.
Okay, I think it's actually more than one, but we can get you the exact number.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
And I believe that will be covered in the permit set we'll be submitting.
All right, members of the board. Paul.
Madam Chair, so what is the maximum number of people at one particular time that can be in the business, either working out or using the sauna?
Our
Yes,
occupancy is 45, I believe, is the occupancy for the unit. But we expect the peak to be between 20 and 30.
So 20 and 30 people using the business at one particular time is the maximum is what you expect.
Yeah, so each sauna fits 3 people. The HIIT saunas are 15 minutes every workout, and the isometric are 45 every workout. So it's that constant flow of people. So yeah.
And so how many?
Go ahead.
Sorry, how many saunas are there in the premise?
10.
10.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Thank you.
assume max of 3 per sauna, and then a few people in the functional training zone.
And you've already stated that the 45 person occupancy is obviously outside of the COVID restrictions. Until those are lifted, we're not anywhere near 45.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay, thank you. Okay, does someone else have their hand up?
I
Mark?
A few things on after hours activity. One is there extra lighting to be turned on because this is operating 24 hours?
I'm assuming you're talking about exterior lighting.
Exterior lighting, yes.
Yeah, I guess I would have to defer to Brian or James to speak to that.
Right, there isn't a plan to do additional lighting at the plaza right now. It's our understanding that the lighting is sufficient, for a 24/7 operation.
Is there any plan to put a security camera on the outside? I'm just merely thinking of, if this is going to have people arriving at 2 a.m., are they going to get mugged in the parking lot? Yes, no?
Yes, the facility will be monitored with security cameras that are accessible.
I know that the interior will be monitored. Is the exterior monitored, is my question.
I don't have that. That will probably be part of our security plan and certainly something that the board could condition.
Okay, and my final question is, 80 people decide organize at midnight to show up at your facility. Does anything stop 80 people from walking in the door?
As long as they're members that have security access to the facility.
Well, suppose 10 of them are members and the other 70 are not.
So we have accessibility to monitor the facility 24 hours a day as owners and staff, right? So we could see that if that's happening.
I mean, I'm just wondering if, not to throw aspersions on 17-year-olds, but if 17-year-olds decide to have a party in your facility.
I mean, there are other 24-hour fitness concepts operating in Northborough Fitness, as well as Anytime Fitness. So this isn't a new concept.
Yeah. I'm just wondering, is there any monitoring of how many people are actually in the facility automatically? Is there a recording of bodies going in and out?
Yeah. Yeah, so our security system will monitor check-in times, how many people. I will have to follow up as to whether there's an alert that can be built into the system that would, indicate if a certain number have gone through in a certain period of time. I don't have that information.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mark. All right, so I have a question. You indicated that it'll be staffed at 50 hours a week. Can you tell us what time frame you think that 50 hours is going to be most likely, and how many staff during that time?
Sure. So the staffed hours are Monday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 8 p.m., Friday, 9 to 6 p.m., and Saturday, 11 to 4 p.m. So the staffed hours are designed to cover the peak hours, especially in the evening, through that kind of 8 p.m. rush. And we'll have, it will vary depending on the membership numbers, but anywhere from 1 to 3 staff members there at a time.
Okay. And so when it's not, and again, this is not that different than the Anytime Fitness and the Northborough not crossing the fitness place. But it is a different opportunity. So what happens what are the precautions for the people who are working out in the sauna when it's not staffed and the virtual trainer realizes the person's in distress or something? I mean, is it live like that where they would then be the people that call 911?
No, so the virtual trainer, it's recording. It's not live interaction that you're having with the instructor.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's where, in the membership agreement, we strongly encourage the use of buddies and the security, the personal security system. In speaking with other franchisees, there's not been safety or security issues off hours, but that is, a risk that someone's taking if they're working out alone at that time.
Sure. And that is no different than the other facilities. I was just curious. And how many, I apologize if this was in your presentation, how many franchises are there out there? I know we said this is new to Central Mass, but.
Yep, so there's about 170 open, and then there's about 200 in the pipeline to be opened.
Cool. Okay. All right. And my last question, will you be blasting music like the gyms do?
No, quite the opposite, actually. I mean, we try
Okay.
and create a soothing environment. So there will be some music, but it will be light music.
Okay. All right. Bob, does that require a vitulers license or like they do in restaurants and,
For music?
I mean, well, for any type of entertainment? I mean, if you have a TV, you have to.
I don't think so.
Okay.
We didn't do that for any of the music playing at the other workout establishments.
Okay.
To be honest, I wasn't aware that music would be requiring a common VIX license. I thought it was food.
Oh, the common vic is,
I-
oh, no. Well, all right. That's fine.
Yeah, I mean, in entertainment, under the building code would typically be, live entertainment,
Mhm.
where a band is actually playing and where music levels would be louder or as loud as your fire alarm warning systems.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you. All right. Other members of the board with any questions or concerns? Okay, Kathy?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, Brad.
No problem. No problem. So, people that join, I don't want to say gym, but fitness studio. I mean, what's the actual term for what you're applying for? Is it a fitness studio? Is it a gym? Is it a spa? I mean, what's the actual term?
Yeah, it's considered a fitness studio.
Fitness studio. Okay. Just want to make sure I'm calling it correctly. So when people sign up, because I've been in saunas before, I love saunas. Gets a little hot and steamy. But if you show up in the middle of the night, heaven forbid something does happen, this is an outlier. Have they signed a waiver saying that the town's not responsible, you're not responsible? Like they've signed a waiver saying, yeah, this is what I'm doing. And kind of I'm on the hook. I'm just trying to look out not only for the town, but actually for you guys as well.
Yeah, it's a pretty long membership agreement. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
And
I'll
just to clarify, it's an infrared sauna, so it's not a steam sauna. So it's completely dry heat.
Okay.
And I'll just add from the town side, granting a permit doesn't give the town liability under the Tort Claims Act. There's an exception, specific exception for that.
Okay. Good. And the other question, I had a bunch of questions, but most of them got answered. So this is a franchise that your name disappeared. Mr. Falk? Is that your name? Falk.
Yes.
That your applicants are looking for. So they're purchasing a franchise. Would this, if we said, you know what, we don't want people in there from 11 to 5 a.m., does that void the franchise agreement for them? Or, because we don't have a lot of 24-hour stuff in here, especially those that aren't unsupervised.
Right. I don't know the particulars of the franchise agreement. I know the locations are set up to be 24/7. That's sort of the whole idea. No matter where you are, if you're a member and you have the app, you can find a location. I think that's the idea. And as was mentioned earlier, there is some precedent in Northborough for 24-hour, locations for fitness, two right in town right now. So it's not really a new concept for Northborough.
No, correct. Yeah, it's on the other side of town. I don't even know if town staff knows. Please help me out. I don't know if there's someone there, or you just scan a badge, or you scan something, kind of like what the applicants are asking for.
Yes, that I can tell you that what used to be Boost, which I don't know what it's called now, which is near the
Northrop
Hillside
Fitness.
Grill. It's you individuals have some type of fob or key to get in,
Okay.
and it's 24/7.
It's exactly the same that's exactly what happens. You have a fob to get in. The same thing with Anytime Fitness. It's staffed during certain peak hours and it's unstaffed the majority of the time. Both
Is
of
it?
those
Okay.
gyms.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. All right. That's all I had. Thank you.
Okay. All right. And Mark, you're muted.
Uh,
Oh, there you go.
Does the operation of this facility produce any waste? I mean, are people showering here? Is there a laundry service? Is there drinks? Do the people bring their own drinks? Or do you have bottles and, anything more than a normal, what I would expect as far as garbage being produced here?
No, nothing above and beyond what's already there. There's already a shower in the space. So we will maintain that shower, and there'll be a water fountain for people to get water from.
So there is one shower?
There is one shower, yep.
Okay, it's not expected that the customers will be showering there? Or is it?
I mean, it's there if they want to use the shower.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, Brad. I'm sorry, Paul.
I guess so there won't be like locker rooms?
There is not a locker room. There's just two bathrooms. One bathroom has a shower.
Okay. So it'll be similar to say like a Core Connection or something where people will show up, work out. They have obviously there's a bathroom there and a shower if they want to use it, but typically that's not the purpose of it. It's literally just going there, working out, and then leaving the premises.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think the shower will be used if people are working out in their lunch hour or something like that. But what I find in this community is most people are working out and then going home and getting ready for their day or hitting the gym at the end of their day.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Dick.
I have a question. Who is monitoring these surveillance cameras? Is it just you, or do you have a company that monitors them regularly?
Yeah, it's a combination. We'll have access to the cameras as well as the security company.
Is the security company going to monitor them 24/7, just when there's an alarm, or when would they do that?
I wouldn't say they're actively monitoring them. That would be our job as the owners of the business, especially off hours, right? I mean, we have a vested interest in making sure people aren't stealing, and there's not large numbers of people coming in off hours. People aren't bringing outside guests off hours, so that's something that we would actively be monitoring.
Okay. And will all this video be recorded so that if something does happen, there'll be a history of it?
Yep, and that's the purpose of the security company. They have a cloud-based package that we would pay for so that we have access to that footage.
Okay, that's all I have.
Thank you. Did I see somebody else's hand? I have my little, okay. All right. So we can come back if need be, but this is a public hearing. So if anyone in the audience has any concerns or questions, if you could raise your hand and then you'll be invited to speak. Okay. At the moment, I see none. So
Can I?
Oh, sure. I'm
just
sorry.
comment? No, that's okay. If there wasn't anyone else in the audience, I just wanted to point out that, and Mr. Falk, mentioned it at the beginning of the meeting. Fred Litchfield, the town engineer, couldn't be here tonight, but did provide a letter to the board. Originally, it was thought that this application would also need a special permit from due to the groundwater bylaw, but it does not. So it's a special permit for the indoor commercial use. And then obviously with the special permit comes a site plan approval. And so the only thing that, specifically that Fred wanted to point out was that there are several decisions, past decisions on this property that all still stand. And he just wanted to make sure that in particular, the conditions from the 2018 decision, it was case 1811, which was in your packet that the applicant provided. And then also case 1310, which is from 2013, that those, not so much those conditions be carried forward, but that, this decision does not supersede, I guess, these former decisions. that those are still in place, because one is, specifically about the septic system. It's a very unique septic system that's on this property. And then the other one was, I'm just flipping through. I think 1310 was actually about the septic system. 1310, and then 1811 was a couple unique conditions about the dentist. Who are they still there, Brian? Is there?
Yes,
There,
yes, they
Bob.
are.
There is.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so through Attorney Falk, your client understands that the conditions that were already in place are not going to be modified or changed in any way on behalf of your clients.
Yes, understood. And I've reviewed those conditions. I mean, they're specific to either the site in general, which is the landlord's concern, or the individual units of those uses. And, they're out of our hands.
Okay, thank you. And to Mr. and Mrs. Bell, if a decision was the special permit was granted, do you have any concerns or issues with exterior surveillance being installed and kept in place 24/7?
No.
Okay, thank you. Okay, does anyone else have any questions or concerns? Okay, do I hear a motion?
Motion to close the hearing?
Thank you.
Second.
Okay, a motion made by Dick Rand, seconded by Brad Blanchett. All those in favors, roll call. Dick?
Aye.
Brad?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
And Fran? Aye. Thank you very much. We'll deliberate later this evening, and a decision will be available tomorrow or later tonight.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so moving on to other business, if we could, to start with, we did get a request from 8 Mill Street, Brianna Rataco, to request to withdraw without prejudice her application for the doggy daycare business. And unless someone has any concerns, I would entertain a motion to grant that.
I motion that we allow 8 Mill Street to pull their application without prejudice.
Thank you.
Second.
I thank you. That was Mark and then Dick. So roll call. All those in favor? Mark?
Aye.
Dick?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
Brad?
Aye.
And Fran? Aye. Okay, thank you very much. Okay. All right, so we can go back to the applicant and the special permit with site plan approval. What say you?
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Yeah, this is a commercial property. The only unusual thing about this is the 24-hour access, which I don't believe anything else on the property is currently 24 hours. Though it certainly goes late enough into the hours with the restaurant being there. And certainly early enough with both the daycare and there's I guess now a coffee shop restaurant on the corner. There is a berm and protection on the back to keep it buffered from the residential area behind it. So I don't think cars arriving at 3 in the morning is going to impact the neighborhood. I don't see any detriment to the neighborhood by allowing this operation. And the only unusual thing is the 24 hours, and that's just going to be absorbed at this site.
Okay. And does anybody remember how big the actual unit, Bob? How big actually?
I think she said 2,200 square feet.
Oh, that's it.
remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
2200.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah, and they're not expanding or anything. It's like it's still the same area that the autism school
Okay.
occupied.
Right. So that is on the small side. Yeah. Jeff?
I was just going to say, I've been a member of Northborough Fitness in the past, Boost before that, even Anytime Fitness that's up on the plaza. There are one or two people who tend to show up late at night or early in the morning, but the vast majority of the people are within those, 5 in the morning until 8 or 9 at night. And I don't see how this would be that much busier or more problematic.
I remember when they first came to Northborough and they were in the old town hall, that they said the majority of their overnight, their 24/7 clients were the staff at the medical centers, because anybody that works nights, they go after work, right? So
Great people. That's
Right.
it.
that's right.
No, and Mark made a great point too, that once the tavern reopens, I hope.
Mhm.
I mean, they used to shut down 12 or 1, but then the coffee shop would reopen at 5. So I mean, it's
Mhm.
there's only a small window, and there's only a small group of people that would handle that. That was kind of my question when I was asking about that, but yeah, Mark kind of put it in perspective.
Right. And I would imagine you compromise your membership if you open the door and let 70 people in.
Yeah, of course.
Right.
Go to jail. Or not
Bob,
jail,
But I'm not sure what they can do to prevent it either.
Right.
I mean-
At any of the other places
with
either.
any jam.
Yeah.
Bob, should we break the news? Let them know that the tavern is closing?
Oh, they're not going to be able to make it?
No, but I think they sold the franchise or something.
Yeah, I'm told that tavern is leaving and somebody else is coming in,
Oh,
Yeah.
another one.
is what I've heard. I don't know who,
Mhm.
and I don't know the business parameters beside them tavern leaving.
Oh, okay. Well, that's too
But
bad.
But someone
Would you?
someone is asking us about a new sign for a different tavern. So
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Not to get off topic, but I heard it's Tavern in the Square. That company is leaving, and a company called Neighborhood Tavern is coming in.
oh,
There you go. There you have it.
So 6-1. I said, does it, have food and TVs and
And
beers and-
75 different beers. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
the square never made sense anyway, so it is a neighborhood. It was never in a square, so it's
Right.
it's an improvement.
There you go. All right. Back to our the hearing in front of us this evening. Does somebody want to attempt? I mean, I do think that it's important that they install outside security so that they can actually see the outside door. I appreciate the fact that they said it's cloud-based, so there will be recordings in perpetuity. Because try as you might, you can't get it out of the cloud once it's there.
No, and it sounds like also, Madam Chair, it's where they're facing towards Bacon, so it's like you can put cameras out there, right? And
Right.
correct me if I'm wrong, everybody, but it looks like if you want to put a light out there, it's hitting Bacon's and it's hitting that coffee shop and towards Texas Barbecue. It's not hitting a neighborhood.
Right. Hmm.
So maybe we make that a condition.
Well,
I don't know how
I'll say it.
works.
I'm pretty sure
Paul.
that parking lot has lights on
Mhm.
almost the entire night. I mean, it is a commercial. I mean, I've been there at midnight walking my
You have?
dog, and at midnight walking my dog. Yes,
No.
and there are lights there, but I also think it's on the side. So even if my 2 cents is that I don't really have a problem with this. To 24 hours, you're not going to have a lot of people coming, over the course of the night. The fact that it's on the side, you would literally have to have everybody who occupies that building plus the 30 people that occupy that building in order to use the parking spaces along the back, which would obviously never happen. So I don't really have an issue with this, given some of the standard conditions we would have in terms of keeping it to these people, to this applicant and some of the other stuff.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. So, crack at a motion.
I would motion that we grant a special permit with site plan review to the property at 318 Main Street. Let's see. We have to specify, we don't have to specify the subunit or anything. For the purposes of running the hot works. And is there a condition? I didn't see the paper, Kathy. Or were there any conditions in the emails?
The conditions were, or what I think what Fred is asking for is not so much that there's specific conditions, but that we reference those two cases. And in the 2018 decision, it references the 2013 decision. So we can just incorporate, in granting the special permit and site plan approval, will work, the 1811 and 1310 into
Conditions into it.
into
Yeah,
it.
okay. All right.
Bob's got a.
Yeah.
I think there were two other requests from the engineer. One is that they update the flow
As
chart
built.
for the septic system
Mhm.
because the septic system does have a finite capacity. So that needs to be updated, and a map of all of the tenants in the building, in the complex, and who they are, the contact information, the capacity, that sort of thing. Just basically to update our files more than anything else, because it's difficult to keep up with who's in and who's out.
Well, it says that the as-built plan revision dated 2007 is unstamped and should be stamped and updated to show the location of all the various tenants. Yes, that's
Okay.
the
Good.
number 5. Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll add those as obviously as conditions. Yeah.
All right. Jeff?
Okay, good.
Just a question, a point of order. I'm not sure, since those two issues are things that should be of the landlord. Is it appropriate to put it on this application or put it on them? I just don't know how that goes.
Well, yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I actually think the landlord was part of the, I'm just looking
The
at
application.
the cover sheet. The petitioner was Be Well Living, but the property owner, has to sign the application.
That's Bob
Um,
DePietri.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I have nothing against having the applicant go after the landlord to
Yeah.
come up with a plan, because so obviously they haven't.
Mhm.
Right, he wants to rent the space, so he's
Right.
he's got to
Yeah.
accommodate what the town is putting on
And
his
yeah, it's
conditions.
a burden on the applicant who can't perform it, but they can
Now,
tell the
okay,
landlord to get
Right,
it in gear.
thank you.
Anyone else want to add to Mark's hodgepodge of emotion?
I'll second it.
All right, Kathy, do you feel that you have the
I
intent of
do.
of the motion? Okay.
yes, yeah, I'm
All
good.
right, with the intent of the motion in solid hands of our town planner, and the motion made by Mark and seconded by Dick Rand, roll call vote. Mark,
Aye.
Dick,
Aye.
Paul,
Aye.
Brad,
Aye.
and Fran, aye. Okay, thank you very much. All
Did anyone
right.
have a chance to look at the minutes?
Uh,
Or
well,
you, if you want to
okay.
move those over to April?
All right, well, I did look at them. I did send over some just grammatical and, word changes, a 2 to a 4, not number, like a TO to an FO,
Yeah,
that type of thing. I don't know if anyone else had a chance to look at them. One is from the joint meeting with the planning board, and I think from what I saw, they'd already been reviewed by the planning board.
the planning, that was in February?
No, January. I
In
thought there was the
January.
January was the joint one. The copy that I saw said KMJKJ. So I assume that meant that the chair of the planning had looked at them You had looked
Yeah,
at them and,
I believe the planning board has approved both sets of January minutes,
okay,
but hasn't gone into February yet. So
okay. And I could be wrong. I don't have them in front of me. Does anybody have them in front of them? Which was the joint meeting with the planning board?
I don't have them in front of me either.
It was the 19th.
Okay, so it was
January
January 19th.
Yeah.
Okay.
January?
Okay, so January 19th was the joint meeting. And like I said, I reviewed them. I made some grammatical and spelling corrections, but not substantive. Anyone, I mean, are people comfortable with approving 1, 2, all 3?
I'm comfortable with all three.
Okay.
You want a motion?
Second.
Oh.
Okay, so,
Need a motion first.
okay, all right,
I
so
would
Mark,
make a motion to approve all three sets of minutes.
okay, and that second came out of Brad? Is
Yes.
that right? Okay, all right, then a roll call. Mark,
Aye.
Brad,
Aye.
Paul,
Aye.
Dick,
Aye.
and Fran, aye. All right, thank you very much. Kathy can get those posted then.
Yep.
I did notice that 2020, not that, yeah, I mean, I don't think we're behind, but I didn't see any decisions recently, but then it could just be the lag in getting them written and getting approved and up and loaded. We're not that far into 2021, but
Yeah, no, you're all set.
okay,
The only decision that hadn't been sent out was the Mill Street,
okay,
but Hamilton and
right,
Thayer,
right. We
both of
just did.
those, have been signed and recorded, and
Right, okay, good. Okay,
yeah.
very good.
So you're caught up to date.
Okay, all right. So the only other thing is you all should have received what the planning board will be presenting. Sorry. Sorry about that. That's the house phone. I can't make it stop.
You just reminded me that I'm gonna have to go in a couple minutes too.
Okay, all right. So the planning board has put together their zoning amendments for town meeting, and they are having their public hearing on April 6th. I would encourage people to read them. I would actually like the zoning board to be prepared at town meeting to say whether we, I don't remember, what is it called? We approve
Or if you
the amendments?
recommend or
Recommend approval of them or not, so that we have that on the record for town meeting, which is not until May 1st. And it certainly can be done after their public hearing on April 6th. But
Right,
as
so I
sorry,
can add it to your April 14th meeting if you want, to
Okay.
specifically go over each
Yep.
Each article.
all right. Yeah, I think, yeah, I would,
Or
I
whether
mean,
you want
Good
to
idea.
do that tonight.
no, I think that would be good on the April 14th meeting this way here. If they're going to do any tweaking or anything to it as a result of public comment at the public hearing on April 6th, I don't want to recommend passing something that changes or, whatever. So I think that makes sense if people are in agreement with that.
Yeah, and the April 14th meeting is just going to be that one duplex.
Correct.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
Hudson Street, 399 Hudson Street.
Okay. Does anyone else have any concerns with having a recommendation by the Zoning Board of Appeals?
I think it's a good idea.
Paul?
Have we done that in the past? Has the zoning board historically sort of agreed or disagreed with zoning amendments?
With zoning change, yes. I mean, I know that, I recall the ones in the past. Did we do it last year? I don't think so.
No.
But last year was such a disaster. The whole year was just so surreal. But prior to that, I recall sitting in the school auditorium, and somebody gets up and says, I recommend approval. I mean, the planning board does it. The municipal code and bylaw does it. So,
Yeah, I mean, it happened at this past town meeting too. It's just we weren't in favor of it.
oh, we actually took a vote this time? I don't
I don't know
remember.
if there was a vote, but there certainly was
Oh,
input from the
right.
ZBA at town meeting.
Right, but those were individuals of the zoning board. But yes, no, collectively as a board, we can say we either we don't get into the nitty gritty. We either the board either recommended approval or or not. There's been times where the planning board has put forth zoning amendments and members of the planning board have gotten up in opposition, or they didn't get, not everything's going to be unanimous because you have differing opinions. So it could be the zoning board recommends approval of this in a 3-2 vote, a 4-1 vote, disapprove it in it's really just to give some guidance to the members at the town meeting. But and then if asked what was the rationale for recommending approval, you would get up and support the planning board and help answer the questions of the citizens at large.
So what is the perspective that you would like us to be prepared for the April meeting? Is this like a personal, like how does, any of us as town citizens of Northborough, whether we approve or disapprove of the written zoning laws?
No, that you would do as an
Okay.
individual and say, I'm Paul and I'm not speaking as a zoning board member, but as a resident themselves. The
Right.
zoning board would say, like, let's take the craft brewery one, which is a pretty non-controversial, right? I
Oh,
think.
that one's not on this year.
Oh, okay.
We
Well,
ended
even
up,
better. Let's even better reason for me to use it as an example, right? So that nobody feels they're being put on the spot at the moment. So if it had gone forward, and as a zoning board at our April 14th meeting, we said we agree that is a good change to our zoning bylaws that would benefit the town as a whole, and therefore we as an appointed board of the town recommend approval of this zoning article. And that helps give some amount of cover to people who are at the town meeting who might not have done all the research. Just like when appropriations recommends or doesn't recommend. It's not the individual saying, well, I think it's a waste of money, or I think we should spend more money. They're saying it on behalf of their positions as the representative boards. And it's to help people who are who are looking for that guidance from the leadership of the town. I mean, that's my
Both boards
understanding.
both boards are intimately involved with zoning. It makes sense for us to weigh in on each other. There's a lot of
Right, because we
Going
don't.
I guess just, and my own thing is that it's two different jobs.
Mhm.
People elect people to the planning board to make, zoning laws.
Mhm.
And we have elections, we have town meetings. You can express your views in a number of different ways.
Mhm.
And the zoning board is sort of supposed to be this impartial body that is supposed to say, these are our bylaws, right? I mean, because, in theory, say we didn't agree with a certain, craft brewery, and it does pass.
Mhm.
So now we may need to hear a case regarding a law that we have voted on that we don't agree with. And I think that's just I don't know.
That's actually a very interesting perspective, because I didn't think of
I
it
don't know
that
if we're
way.
like pre-biasing our board, because look, I mean,
Yeah.
you can agree with
Okay.
something, I could disagree, and we can
Yep.
go to town meeting and say, I mean, like you said, we go to town meeting and we say, I am Paul, I don't represent the ZBA, but this is how I feel.
Mhm.
And we, obviously, if we've done the research and we have
Mhm.
the facts and everything else, then we can say our piece, and then the people vote.
Mhm.
And if it passes, it passes. I guess the board aspect and the fact that we are making judgments based off the bylaws that are written,
Mhm.
and whether or not that could have a potential future bias down the road for us. Because if, whatever the bylaw is, say we don't agree with it, and we say, oh, hey, we don't agree with this thing,
Mhm.
it passes. Now we're getting cases in front of us
Mhm.
that could potentially incorporate this certain bylaw.
I actually think that's a very valid point. I mean, I actually never thought. I mean, I actually never thought about it that way. I also don't know that I've seen. I don't recall the zoning board not, or a board not supporting something in some form or fashion. But I do. I think that I think if we supported it, I think getting up and saying the zoning board of appeals, recommends approval, that is solidifying that our interpretation of this new zoning bylaw is in the best interest of the town. But, you know, I mean, I hear what you're saying as far as if we said that we don't agree with it, then how can we be the impartial jurors of the interpretation of that bylaw?
Yeah,
I
I mean,
guess
I
I
think,
would,
I think we do that all the time, don't we? I mean, we don't necessarily agree with the zoning. I mean, are you saying, Paul, that you don't think we can be objective afterwards and we have a conflict? I don't, I mean, I see your point, but I
no,
don't.
no, no, no. I
really-
don't think, I mean, I don't think, because I don't think we, or what our personal opinion is versus how we vote in town meeting per se, right? Because there's been people here, whether you agree or disagree, right? You can vote however you vote on town meeting, but then once we cross over and we are members of the ZBA, we now are supposed to be impartial
That's right.
people, right?
Yep.
And so I guess if even if we vote for something that takes away something, right? Say, I don't even know, I haven't looked at the bylaws, but say it takes away a certain use, right? And now someone's applying for a variance. And, you know, we say, no, you can't have that. Well, you guys are already biased. You've already,
Right.
You
Where
know,
you as an individual, it's different. I can say Fran doesn't like it, but as a member of the zoning board, I understand that it meets the criteria. Therefore, I am going to vote for it. I
guess
There's been
I would need to think
times
about
in the past, though, I mean, if you want specific examples, I can certainly find them because we have to record the votes every year. But where the planning board, where it hasn't been unanimous,
Mhm.
you know, with the planning board putting forth a zoning amendment, and then it was approved at town meeting, you know, and that board still has to abide by that bylaw, you know, even though some of them might not have voted in favor of it.
Okay.
I think also that to me, it just makes sense in general that if some of the bylaws, one of the amendments, whatever, it affects specifically the zoning board of appeals, I would think you would want to weigh in on that.
Yeah. Right. If it affects our authority, but not
Right.
necessarily, right. Yes.
Right. I
because-
would think that you would want a say in that you would
Okay.
want to participate in that, but.
Okay. All right. So what do other people think? I mean, we don't have to decide. I think everybody should be prepared to review them after the public hearing and have discussion about it, but we don't, we can decide whether we want to, as a collective board, weigh in on them at town meeting on behalf of the board, and obviously any individual can do that themselves, with the caveat, I'm speaking for myself, not as the member of the Zoning Board of Appeals. If no one feels, if people want to just think about it and we can regroup, but I would strongly encourage, I mean, while it's all, available to sit at home and watch live or on record, listen to the public hearing or participate in the public hearing if you as individuals think that you have questions about it. Right?
Okay.
All right. Anything else, Kathy, before the board
No,
tonight?
I just wanted to, I just had added the 8 Mill Street, so that's all.
Okay.
to
All right.
me.
Can I just ask real quick before we adjourn? Have we heard anything about our the appeal?
No, we
Okay, no,
haven't. And Dick had also asked me that
Okay.
too. I had
About the
put,
open meeting violation?
Right, about the open meeting violation. No, I don't have an update for you.
Okay.
If I had sent an email to town council. I haven't been in the office in the past couple of days. I've been working from home, so I haven't had telephone access, believe it or not, as old fashioned as that sounds or whatever. But so I will follow
Very
up with a
lucky.
phone call over the next couple of days with town council, because I just don't have, I don't have an update email wise.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Just curious. Jeff?
Can I just have someone confirm the dates that you just mentioned? We have an April meeting on the 14th.
Yes, it's an odd date for you. It's the
I was
middle of the
gonna say,
week.
no, so there are no CPAs on this board, I guess, but luckily we've had an extension.
Oh, that's right.
It's okay this year, just don't
God,
make a
what-
habit of it.
Weren't even thinking of that when I wasn't thinking of that when I proposed that date at the last meeting. Yeah.
And then the town meeting, did you say is May 1st?
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a Saturday outside.
Mhm.
starting at 9 a.m. at the high school, the same location, the football field where it was last year.
Right.
I-
And
I'm
if you-
gonna, I'm gonna be outside as well, but on a beach in Aruba, so.
Oh.
Well, and if anybody wants to bring cake, it's my birthday.
No.
Early birthday.
We'll bring cake.
Go on.
I was like, we're wrapping up
Before you-
anyway, but I got a dash and you don't need my vote to adjourn, so I'm
All
gonna.
That's right. You
All
have
right,
another
every-
meeting, Leslie.
All
Everybody
right,
in a
take
few
care.
weeks.
Thanks, Leslie.
All right, thank
See
you.
in
Bye-bye.
April.
Yeah, Leslie.
Bye-bye.
Okay, all right. And on that note, do I hear a motion?
I move that we adjourn.
Second?
Okay, motion made by Mark, seconded by Dick. Roll call. Mark,
Aye.
Dick,
Aye.
Brad,
Aye.
Paul,
Aye.